Well, Carrie Champion, last I saw Carrie Champion, she was getting her ass handed to her on CNN by Scott Jennings. Yeah, in one of those roundtable shows that they got where Scott Jennings goes in and just goes nuclear and scorches all of them in wonderful fashion. Hell, I should have reached out to Scott, asked him if he wanted to make this video with me, for crying out loud. I'm sure he might have got a real kick out of it. Carrie Champion is accusing the WNBA refs of favoritism towards Caitlin Clark. She is
Golden State Valkyries. Head coach Natalie Nakase wasted no time making her position clear after the win over Indiana Fever, declaring that every team on the schedule is a rival. But the real story of the game went well beyond the final score. The officiating was a defining factor from start to finish. The Fever finished the night with 25 fouls called against them, a number that shaped the entire flow of the contest. To put that in perspective, Veronica Burton alone went to the free throw line 12 times, and Gabby Williams added 10 more.
She is calling her entitled. The league where black lesbians had kicked the shit out of Caitlin Clark for now into the third year, they're calling Caitlin Clark entitled. Okay. You can't make this shit up, but here we are. Awful announcing. You got that right. You got it right. By the way, she said this on some podcast.
That is 22 free throw attempts between two players. Not a single Fever player reached double digits at the line. That imbalance tells the story of the game better than any box score category. When asked about the defensive strategy against Caitlin Clark, Nakase credited her staff and spoke about mixing up matchups throughout the night. The Valkyries started Veronica Burton on Clark before rotating Gabby Williams and others into the assignment, keeping Clark off balance with different looks and constant physicality.
You got it right. By the way, she said this on some podcast that she's got, and I'm just going to keep it real. Where are you in life if you're listening to a Carrie Champion podcast? That's all I want to know. Holy hell. My God. You have to be the oldest of oldest miserable of WNBA fans to be listening to that. And I think she covers all sports. I'm sure. I don't know. Who knows? It's probably one big race baiting show.
The coaching staff also emphasized defending without fouling, keeping hands high and staying in front of the ball handler. And by the numbers, that approach held up. Clark was given very few clean looks and faced contact on nearly every drive that did not result in a whistle. Nakase was also candid about her late game decision to extend heavy minutes to a player who had barely seen the floor in the first half. The choice was driven by the need for another ball handler who could make clean decisions in pick-and-roll situations and remain composed under pressure.
Race baiting show. A recent string of controversies around the Indiana Fever star Caitlin Clark has longtime sports commentator Carrie Champion sounding the alarm on what she sees as, quote, blatant favoritism from the refs and the league towards its supernova. During a game last week against Golden State Valkyries, Clark got into several dust-ups with veteran wing Tiffany Hayes, which later came.
That player delivered, and Nakase credited her coaching staff for identifying the matchup and having the trust to act on it late in a close game. Kia Nurse's defensive performance on Aaliyah Boston drew particular praise from Nakase. Nurse held Boston to just 11 shot attempts by staying physical, studying film, and anticipating her tendencies. Her 2 blocks in the closing minutes were described as momentum-shifting possessions that effectively sealed the result.
with veteran wing Tiffany Hayes, which later came under more scrutiny after Hayes engaged with fans online that encouraged further confrontations with Clark. You notice how they put that? No. She engaged with them about actual, it sounded like group beatings. Oh, I got some cousins, plural, and we can ride out. What do we think that means? Of course we know what that means. It's a call for violence. Tiffany Hayes.
Boston herself acknowledged in her own press conference that the Valkyries were physical and sold contact well, a straightforward admission that the strategy worked. On the offensive side, the Valkyries posted only 7 mid-range attempts, reportedly their lowest of the season, while generating 40 shots in the paint and 21 from beyond the arc. That kind of shot distribution reflects a deliberate game plan built around attacking the Fever's switching defense and exploiting the mismatches it creates. The coaching staff designed new actions specifically for this matchup, and the players had input in shaping what those looks would be.
A call for violence. Tiffany Hayes co-signed it, period. She did. That led Kerry Champion to recall an incident last season in which Clark went viral for telling a referee to open their eyes, to which Champion compared with recent technical foul for Dallas star Paige Beckers, which seemingly was called simply because Beckers clapped. On top of that, didn't Caitlin Clark get a technical just a couple of weeks ago because she clapped or something like that? I can't remember exactly what happened.
Nakase closed the press conference with a message about team culture. She pointed to a bench full of players who were visibly engaged, communicating and supporting from the sideline regardless of their own minutes. In her view, that collective investment, not just the matchup decisions or the defensive scheme, is what separates this group and positions them to compete deep into the season. Angel Reese and the Chicago Dream suffered a convincing defeat at the hands of the Minnesota Lynx on Tuesday night, falling 0-6-81 in a game that exposed ongoing offensive limitations for the second-year forward while simultaneously showcasing just how dangerous the Lynx have become as a unit.
A couple of weeks ago because she clapped or something like that. I can't remember exactly what happened, but I thought it was a damn quick. Remember, they were going in the half and they got her on a tech for something? I don't know. On top of that, Clark was quite dismissive of the controversy around her late scratch for her home game last week, for which the WNBA issued Indiana a warning for breaking injury reporting rules. In total, Champion believes that while there are some issues that can be chalked up to growing pains for the young star athlete,
heading into the matchup, there had been some momentum building around Reese. 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 steals, numbers that suggested a player trending upward. The Lynx, however, had other ideas. The underlying shooting numbers tell a more troubling story.
Can be chalked up to growing pains for the young star athlete, understandable frustration with intense media scrutiny. The pattern suggests preferential treatment towards Clark that other stars do not enjoy. Are you shitting me? Wow. What? Quote, that type of blatant favoritism annoys the hell out of me, she said on her Flagrant and Funny podcast. Again, if you're listening to that, oh my God, Jamel Hill's on this podcast with her?
Reese currently stands as the only starter in the entire league who has not made a field goal from beyond 5 feet, 8%, a figure considered below the expected standard for a post player operating close to the basket. She on 3 of 8 shooting in 27 minutes, pulling down 8 rebounds and dishing 5 assists, but also committing 2 turnovers. Her plus-minus on the evening sat deep in the negative reflecting how badly the Dream struggled with her on the floor.
21, but 25, that's a lot, bro. That is a lot, bro. Now, they did out-rebound the Fever on the defensive side, but with 29, I told y'all, man, but them blocks just ultimately killed them, dog. Killed the Fever. Now, with all that being said, I ain't going to waste no time because it is late. I want to get right into this press conference. Check it out. Listen to it, bro. Yeah, it's just one of them days, man. I ain't going to hold you.
The attempt from three-point range raised further questions about shot selection at this stage of her development. While Reese drew much of the post-game attention, the real story of the night belonged to Natasha Howard, who delivered one of her finest performances of the season. The Lynx forward poured in 22 points on an efficient 11 of 16 from the field, adding 8 rebounds and 5 assists in a display that has become increasingly routine for her since joining Minnesota. Howard spent last season looking limited and out of place within a different system, but under head coach Cheryl Reeve, she has rediscovered the form that once made her one of the more feared forwards in the league.
Gonna hold you. It's a late night tonight. Definitely is, guys. Get it pulled.
Hey, Natalie.
Where are you?
Over here.
You usually sit right there.
I know, but I have to get the mic first, so
Okay.
to put aside. Eustace doesn't play the first half, and then she ends up playing essentially every minute in the second half. Was that
She
planned?
didn't. No, she didn't.
I think she came out with
15
48
minutes and
seconds
55
left.
seconds. What's a half?
She is now being discussed seriously as an MVP caliber player based on her recent run of performances. Courtney Williams contributed 25 points on 10 of 15 shooting, while Olivia Miles added 16 points, 6 of 10 from the floor, along with 8 assists and 5 rebounds in another standout outing. Miles continues to assert herself as one of the more complete young guards in the league. Ariel Powers also chipped in 14 points off the bench as the Lynx ran their offense through multiple contributors with ease.
55 seconds. What's a half?
Yeah,
That's a lot of time.
Yeah,
Do
a
the
lot of
math.
time. But was that something that was planned, or like what was just kind of the emphasis of getting her in and playing her that many minutes in the second half?
The way they're guarding us, we felt like just having another ball handler out there, and then just her fluidity of making decisions and pick and roll. Obviously, her composure. So yeah, we just decided to go with her, and she performed great.
Natalie, Veronica, 20.
It is worth noting that Ryan Howard also had a below-average game for Chicago, so the loss cannot be placed entirely at Reese's feet. The team struggled collectively, but Reese's offensive limitations remain the most visible concern, particularly as she enters her third professional seasons, still without a reliable mid-range or perimeter element to her game. The coaching staff has been working with her on mechanics, though progress has been slow to translate in competitive settings.
Veronica, 25 points, 5 blocks. Just
Bro, she
and
went
11
off,
blocks as a
bro.
team. What did you see from her individually? And then also, I mean, you talked about wanting to see your team dictate and
Free
really
throws
take
did
control
she make?
defensively.
Yeah.
Did they do that?
Yeah, I think V's leadership really took a big leap today. I felt she really controlled the tempo. Number one, she started off, just attacking. That was part of
The broader context around Reese is complicated by the fact that the WNBA has continued to market her heavily despite the on-court production not yet matching that level of promotion. For critics, the gap between the platform she has been given and what she has delivered remains a legitimate talking point. For supporters, the argument is that the role tools are there, and the refinement will come with time. Tuesday night, however, belonged entirely to Minnesota.
Just attacking. That was part of the game plan. Again, credit to Kasib Powell. It was his game plan. V followed it to a T. There were times where we talked about, attacking, and there were times about staying composed. And she was composed and fearless every moment. And then in terms of the defensive end, she was...
Bro, Veronica Burton straight shot 12 free throws, bro. 12 free throws. Gabby Williams shot 10 free throws. Gabby Williams shot 10 free throws. That's a total of 22 free throws, bro. 22 free throws between the two. 12. Nobody on the Fever roster got in double digits on free throws. That's the story of the game. She shot 12 free throws. Let's talk about that tomorrow, bro.
It's just like, let me make sure we're organized. We got the matchups we wanted, and I thought she did an amazing job. Defending without fouling was also another key. And she just has this great timing with her hands, but also it's her body position. I don't want to give away all V's secrets, but just incredible timing and footwork that she has. I'm very proud of her. Yep.
That's you and the referees.
Just to be able to close this game out, and there were ebbs and flows. Obviously, we're up, they go up, but just to be able to take the lead late and then close it out. Last year, there were times where you guys weren't able to do that. What does it just kind of? There were times where you guys weren't able to do that. What does it just kind of say about the evolution of this group and just kind of where you guys are at to be able to be in an environment like this and in this atmosphere and find a way to close it out?
Yeah, I think we're just, again, getting used to our atmosphere. I think you could tell the way we're taking in Valhalla. I mean, Valhalla, they were after it. They were booing at the right times. It was amazing, the timing. So thank you, Valhalla. But tonight you could see, our team really stuck together. Like you said, the ebbs and flows of the game. We stuck together. We stayed composed.